Yeah, and it's incumbent on me to talk about Adesanya Mavov. Guys, the ending of an era is always painful for us, because we always want to remember our fighters in all their glory. I think Chuck Liddell's a classic example, and Chuck hung on way too long, didn't he? Getting knocked out once after another with Rashad Evans, Shogun Hua, that draw with Keith Jardine. And at the end of it, we forgot the guy that was, our champion of the world, so to speak. Anderson Silva, same thing. He hung on and lost to Jared Cannonier, lost to Israel Adesanya, lost to a number of guys. Now, I hope for Israel Adesanya, he's able to move on from this and take his legend into the good night. But fighters don't like to retire, right? We're fighters in our core, so giving that up can be very, very, very difficult. Now, this changing of the guard is not a surprise to me because the way the sport is now, it's going to happen almost as soon as you get there. There's going to be someone that can take you out, and I can tell you, that the fight game is about hiding your deficiencies or your weaknesses. And sometimes the promoter gets a little bit off the rails with that, right? Like they thought Izzy could beat Jan, which, obviously was not really a smart move for Izzy, right? Jan took him down, laid on him for 5 rounds, and, they lost his dream of a double championship. But sometimes we get into our head that we can do that people are better than they actually are, or, not even better in that sense. Like Israel Adesanya is an absolute animal. But was it a smart move for him to take on Blachowicz? Probably not in retrospect, right? Imavov was one of those things where it was a pick 'em. You didn't know what was going to happen. Israel had a lot of success until he didn't, right? Until he got iced right there. And judging by Israel Adesanya's last fight against Duplessis, I mean, he was an animal. I mean, listen, he was in that fight by all means until the end when he wasn't. Same thing with Imavov. And that's generally what happens to us. The chinks in the armor start to wear off. And, we become human because at the end of the day, we are all human in there. And it's very tough to maintain your hunger when you are the champ. It's the guys who want to knock you off that perch that have all that hunger, that desire. They're not rich yet. They're not household names yet. They want that. And if they don't ever get there, they'll never be that. And their career would have, in their eyes, been marginalized more than if they had won the title and then eventually lost it. So let's say, good night to a legend. I remember Adesanya's first fight in the UFC. He did not look impressive. He had an impressive resume coming over, right? And that's why he was so heralded. But he didn't look good. But you don't improve in the fight. You improve in the gym. And over time, he built himself into the modern-day Anderson Silva. And he gave us a lot of thrills, a lot of fun. There were some forgettable moments. I didn't really like the Jared Cannonier fight. But, this is MMA. You got to fight people smart. And if you don't, you get laid on for 5 rounds by Blachowicz. And there it is. Everybody read my book, Warrior of the Light.